When General Muhammad Buhari was actually seeking for election in 2015, he had in the business world what we call the KPIs, the key performance indicators. What did he want to achieve? So first he mentioned issue of security in Nigeria. Today, let us look at the record of the security. We have seen the issues with Boko Haram. We have seen an almost eradication of Boko Haram, even though there are still some spots of attacks by Boko Haram here and there. But we have seen that this government has weakened Boko Haram tremendously. We have also looked on the other issue that the president also has indicated. He has indicated an era of corruption in Nigeria. This is an area of a lot of people competing, and then there are a lot of contradictions and there is a lot of debate when it comes to his achievement, when it comes to corruption. But let us look at him as a person. What Nigeria has seen is nearly every president of Nigeria that has ruled this country has been accused of corruption one way or the other. General Muhammad Buhari has come clean. So far, whether you like him or not, you cannot accuse him of being involved in any sense of corruption. This has gone a very long way for him, and it's a very good credit for him. We have the interest to be able to produce sugar locally in Nigeria, and we have gone around this country trying to acquire land, and we do not have the technology. So we have to go acquiring equipment from India, from the UK, from Germany, from Brazil, from Uruguay, and from all these places, from the US. There are boilers, for instance, coming from the US. Every one of these places that you go to today, you will realize that people say, in your country, corruption has reduced significantly, and people are interested in coming back to do that. Corruption was actually being instigated, and still is, by a lot of foreigners, and people don't know that in Nigeria. But foreigners are afraid today to come in, and try to see how they can bribe people in Nigeria and get their ways. I spent most of my life in the oil and gas sector in the US. As a result of that, I still go to the US a lot. And every time you go into the oil and gas sector, you again hear a lot of things going on about corruption. People are afraid of coming to corrupt Nigerians. So this has gone a very, very long way for us. Yes, people talk about how many people have been convicted. It is not General Muhammad Buhari who will convict people. It is the courts that will convict people. So it is only left for the government to identify areas and then pursue. Is there still elements of corruption in Nigeria? Of course, yes. There will be people, because it's something that cannot be eradicated. But has this government achieved something? Yes, it has achieved. If you look at what has happened in this economy, look at the capital market today. The capital market has actually lost its credibility completely in Nigeria. Today, that credibility has been gained. Our share price came down as low as less than 6 naira. As at yesterday, our share price is now over 18 naira. So it has gone 3 times that. So the capital market has gone back to its glory days. A lot of things happening also in the capital market. A lot of companies are making profits. A lot of foreigners are having interest. So if you look at the totality of this, look at the effects, what has happened. About 1 year, two years ago, we were actually looking for dollar to buy. Sometimes you will be looking for $1 million you will not find. And a lot of this equipment had to be imported. Today, we are even saying that we will be able to complete one segment of the refinery next year. Why? Because even at the 500 naira that we couldn't get a dollar about 1.5 years ago, today you are able to get any amount of dollar you want at anywhere between 305 to 307 from the Central Bank of Nigeria. This has gone a very long way in helping the economy. So if you look at all that, what else are you really looking for? So forget about politics aspect of it. If you look at it in totality of Nigeria, and people are calling for General Muhammad Buhari to contest, now that God has restored his health back, So in fact, it is even better for him to contest, in order to continue from where he's actually going.
So let's talk about the political aspect of it. This call is coming at a time when his party is facing some kind of internal crisis, in which resulted to one of the big notches of the party to dump the party and quit APC, that is Atiku Abubakar. Don't you think this will change the question when the election comes?
When you use the word crisis in APC, it's a very debatable terminology to use, because if you look at it, if any party in Nigeria, and I'm looking at it maybe from the outside, when any political party in Nigeria is said to be in crisis, it is indeed maybe the PDP that is in crisis rather than the APC. The reason why I will tell you that is because we have seen the crisis of leadership at the highest level. We have seen that, yes, there are internal issues, there are challenges, there are people who are dissatisfied, within the APC. But it is also expected. It is indeed expected that, yes, there are certain ways that things were used to be doing in Nigeria. And because of the nature of the president, definitely those kind of things will not go in that manner. We have seen situations where people just come and share money. Unfortunately, it is not happening now. We have seen places where people will just go and get contracts and not execute the contracts. And I will give you a good example from the area that I know very well, the oil and gas sector. We have seen a lot of companies that had gone to actually obtain the license to import on behalf of NNPC petroleum products. And they ended up not importing the petroleum product, and they were paid. Those kind of monies were usually shared and sprayed, and that. We are not seeing that anymore. So when you have that kind of situation, you expect that there will be people who are used to that lifestyle that will be dissatisfied. But that does not translate to crisis within the party. It amounts to people who are dissatisfied. I think Nasarawa State and all indigents of Nasarawa State will have no other party to vote for except APC, if we want to be we want to be serious about ourselves. And that is the reason why some of us are not leaving APC, because sometimes politics is local. We are not leaving APC because first we have to look at our state of Nasarawa. We have had other governors, and we had an APC government led by Tanko Almakura. The amount of development that this government has done in the few years that had been in power is 10 times more than the development made by the previous governments that were not APC government, 10 times put together. This is the reality on the ground. It doesn't matter how you look at it. It doesn't matter whether you are contesting for an office or not. When the truth comes, let it be told. The truth of the matter is that Tanko Almakura, as a governor of APC, has done so much for Nasarawa State. He has done everything in the areas of development, in the areas of industrialization. When I say industrialization, people only look at what has happened, that Dangote is bringing the biggest sugar refinery in Nasarawa. But people don't look at it that Dangote had been wanting to come to Nasarawa more than 10 years ago. So he only found the atmosphere and the opportunity to come in now when Tanko was there. Before we went into that kind of area, for instance, he provided a road network from away all the way to Tonga to the side. No, investors want structures to be provided, atmosphere to be provided for them. Atmosphere of friendship, of concern, of genuine unity, genuine peace in an area. Those have been created, and this government has done that. Lafia has been turned upside down as a state capital now, rather than a local government headquarters that we have seen it. It is this government that has done that. This government also has come in, instead of just going to continue increasing the number of traditional rulers that are carrying big gown all over the place, has concentrated more on developing the townships where these traditional rulers live. Coming back home to a place like Akwanga, for over 15 years, we couldn't have a traditional ruler. Constantly, there had been questions of crisis about having a chumada of ourselves. Today we do not only have a Chumada, we have a Chunga. You know, we have a Chumada that is our untraditional ruler of the motherland. We also have a Chunga that is of the other area of Mada, which my village, Goody Station, happens to come in. Look at the number of schools that have been developed. Look at the number of hospitals that have been developed. Look at, you can take of anything, we have seen development in real sense in Nasarawa. But if you are looking for atmosphere where employment will be created, where development is there, where opportunities for people are there, where education is taken care of, where healthcare facilities are being provided, you know, of course, this is a government to vote for. Why am I going to contest? Because our zone, if there is fairness, if there is actually equity, our zone should be given the opportunity to produce the governor. And the people that can have the capacity to contest in my zone are not too many. We are very few. A lot of people would love to contest, but God has not given everybody the opportunity to contest. So for the few of us that God has actually given us the opportunity to contest, in fact, if we do not contest for whatever fear, we have created actually a crime against humanity. So because of this reason, I will contest for an office. Whether I will be the one to take over from Tanko Al-Makura or not, depends in the hands of Almighty Allah.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.